A huge show to get to. Gavin Newsom's bigotry, the cartel violence, what I'm calling an assassination attempt. I don't know how you call it anything else. I'm Tony Katz. The show is Tony Katz today. Let's get started, shall we? Yes, let's. The cartel violence is not showing any stop. And Claudia Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, is warning against war against the cartels. Now, I know what you're saying. Hey, Tony, my Spanish ain't what it used to be. Don't worry. I'll translate.
Regresar a la guerra contra el narco no es opción.
Returning to war against the narcos is not an option. Oh. So you engage a military action taking out the leader of the largest cartel. The cartel responds by going after the Puerto Vallarta airport, by attacking people in the streets. You have 14 dead. You have actions and violence in 2/3 of the country. American citizens are having a hard time getting out or being told to shelter in place. Cars are being set on fire in the middle of the road. And you think now is the time to say, hey, maybe we don't want war against the narcos? They sure as hell want war against you. For what reason are you not taking this opportunity to try and make your country just that much better? Because right now, your country continues to have the same problem it has had for decades. You can't actually see an opportunity to a better tomorrow if you are living under the shadow of, if you talk too much, we'll kill you. We'll let you pretend government, we'll let you play government, but we're the cartels, we're the ones who are really in charge. At what moment do you say we have to put an end to this? At what moment do you say we have to change this? And if the answer is you don't want to change it, Claudia Sheinbaum, can I ask a question that everybody else is asking? Who pays you? Oh, that's a rough and tumble question right there now, isn't it? Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. What else did Claudia Sheinbaum have to say?
No es opción.
It is not an option, the war with the cartels. Cartels don't see it this way. So this was, as reported, movement by the Mexican military with some level of assistance from the United States. Was this informational? Was it tactical? What was the information? That I don't have a great answer for. What I know is that the leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel, known as El Mencho, everyone's got to have a nickname, he was killed, and that has led to absolute violence everywhere. You have the area of Guadalajara, which is the capital of Jalisco, this Mexican state that has been ghost town. You had people hiding in their homes, schools canceled today because of this killing. The objective was to try and capture this guy in Tapalpa, Jalisco. It's a 2-hour drive southwest of Guadalajara. They then tried flying him to Mexico City, where he died. This, according to their Defense Department. You were doing this at the behest of the United States because we want the drug trade to end? You should want the drug trade to end. Unless, of course, there's some advantage to you. It's keeping the drug trade going. You already did the thing. You already went after him. Now, first, before anything, did you not think that there was going to be an aftermath? Because there's absolutely going to be an aftermath. What kind of crazy person thinks it's all going to be, they're just going to go, oh, well, poor El Mencho. I wonder what's on TV tonight. Stop it. You knew there would be some response. You didn't know there would be a response in Puerto Vallarta? I think that took a lot of people by surprise. This is an area that is touristy, and usually areas that are left alone because the last thing the cartel wants to do is bring heat on itself. They just want to operate and sell their drugs. They'll kill whoever gets in the way, and that's it. But you've got massive violence at the airports. You have airlines that canceled their flights, reported 14 deaths on Sunday, 7 of them National Guard troops. Buildings are bullet-ridden. Cars are burned out. We've got American citizens who can't get out, which is going to involve us, Claudia Scheinbaum. But can we go back to a basic question? What possibly did you think was going to happen? If you didn't want the fight, why in the world did you start it? Why would you go after him if your plan was not to continue forward? Doesn't make any sense. It's you and me sitting on a bar stool. Does that make any sense to you? Hey, we're going to go after the cartel leader. What's going to happen next? I don't know, probably lunch. Yeah, but when the cartel gets angry that you went after the leader, they're not going to get angry. Yeah, well, what if they do get angry? They're not going to get angry. Yeah, but what if they do get angry? Look. We go after the cartel leader, and that's the way it's going to go, and that's that. Okay. Now, some people have noted, hey, Tony, you keep saying that Claudia Scheinbaum went after them, after this cartel leader. What if it wasn't Claudia Scheinbaum? The story from News Nation discusses that a new U.S. military-led task force, which specializes in intelligence collection on drug cartels, played a role in this military raid that killed the Mexican drug lord known as El Mencho. This is defense officials from the U.S. saying this to Reuters. Now, one would have to assume this was a very approved leak. The Joint Interagency Task Force Counter Cartel involves multiple U.S. government agencies, launched last month. The goal is to map out networks of drug cartels on both sides of the U.S.-Mexico border. And speaking to Reuters, says News Nation, on anonymity, they did not offer further details on any information that the U.S. military-led task force may have offered Mexican authorities. Some people want to say, well, this was the CIA at work. I have no idea if it is or if it isn't. None. If you ask me, hey, Tony, what's your faith in the CIA? I would look at you and say, my gosh, you're pretty. What is my faith in quite literally any government agency at this moment? I right now have a little more faith in the FBI only because I saw Kash Patel drinking with the U.S. men's hockey team after winning a gold medal, to which some people are very, very angry about. I think those people are special. I think drinking a beer with the boys is probably the most normal thing we've seen in a long time. The left would probably call that toxic masculinity, and everybody else in America is like, I want my boys to grow up to be like those on the hockey team. Fight hard, get their teeth knocked out, keep fighting, and then when they win, say, you know what, I love America. Good on them. Never giving up, never quitting, then going to see the dentist. That's right. I think that what immediately should happen is that Donald Trump should pay for Jack Hughes' grill. That's what's got to happen. You need them Trump teeth, just pure gold. Look good. Look really, really good. So I can't tell you if this was some kind of American plan, American plot. We did this. We led this. The story is that the U.S. compiled a detailed target package for El Mencho and provided it to the Mexican government for its operation. Information provided by U.S. law enforcement, U.S. intelligence. Now, the word on the street is that this guy, El Mencho, was very high if not at the top of U.S. target lists. That he was the guy that people wanted. By the way, El Mencho translates to the Mencho. It's a nickname. His name is it Nemesio? I think that's how you pronounce his first name, and it's a nickname for Nemesio. So it's not some other kind of name. It's just a nickname of his actual given name of this drug lord who is now dead. Does this change the amount of fentanyl that now pours into the United States? Can't answer the question. One would certainly hope. But I think that the only way you actually stop this is by stopping the ability of the drugs to flow into the United States. Yes, disruption of leadership disrupts all things. But you need to disrupt the supply chain. You need to disrupt the workers. You need to disrupt distribution. That stuff has to happen. So it has to be more than just this. And if I was going to engage, and by the way, how much time have I spent thinking about this? If I was going to engage an attack on the head of the organization, I also got to be engaging some other plans. There have to be some other attacks that take place. What are those? What are those? What other movements could be happening and could be considered? Don't know. But they took their shot. And the Mexican president isn't interested in having that war. How do the people feel? I'm asking because I don't have the answer. Are they just exhausted by the idea that they sit here and pretend to vote for a government, believe they have a government, when the truth is they're run by 3 or 4 cartels that will kill anybody that gets in their way? Maybe they'd like to fight back. Maybe they're happy to have a partner in the United States that's willing to engage that fight. And maybe we need to be more willing to do that fight, to have that fight, to get in there. They say to me, Tony, no more foreign wars. No, this isn't our problem. I'd put forth to you that Mexican cartels are absolutely our problem. Does this mean that we have to put troops on the ground? Not necessarily. Would I do everything to avoid that? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm with you. Do I think that we should stop providing the right intel to reach the right people, take out their command structures and weaken them to then continue to do away with their ability to distribute drugs into the United States? Yes. We should not stop at all. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Gavin Newsom is getting all sorts of super uppity. Let's see. Sorry. All right. I've got Gavin Newsom here. I will get into Gavin Newsom. I've got that in the next hour. And the absolute ignorance of not only him, but Bernie Sanders. It is special. Special stuff. I know where this is. So I'm heading to the State of the Union tomorrow. Weather depending. I mean, they're done with the snow in D.C., but I don't know how much things are going to, the weather there in the Northeast is going to impact flights and everything else. But I was invited, and I am going. And then I'll be doing the show Sunday from D.C. I'm sorry, Wednesday. Did I say Sunday? Yeah, Wednesday. So I'm just trying to look this up, make sure I've got this right. State of the Union. I am scheduled to be there. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Going to the show. Going to the show. I'm calling the State of the Union the show. Yes, I will be there. Tony Katz today. I was invited by Senator Todd Young of Indiana. Ask me why. I don't know. But I think that when you get the invite, I think my job is to say, absolutely, I want to see this thing up close and in person. Because you already have Democrats who are not going. Adam Schiff, I will not be at the State of the Union. Good, because your neck gets in the way of other people seeing. So we're thrilled that, all the sight lines will be clear. And then it was Ruben Gallego of Arizona. I'm not going to the State of the Union. And so I'm like, can I have your seat? I'd probably be a pretty good view from there. I will be in the gallery somewhere. I don't know where. I don't know where I will be. I am hoping that I'm in the area of the gallery next to the First Lady, right? Because I have been told that what Melania would like is a little bit of eye candy next to her, and I just want to help. I just want to help, give her some fashion tips and say, listen, and next time you want to make a movie, call me, and I can help. You want to do it again? Listen, I've already got the name, Melania 2 Electric Boogaloo. Right? I'm here for you, MT. Right? I call her an MT. Right? It's what friends do. Sometimes I just call her Sweet Mel, but that's not for the microphones. I don't do that whatsoever. She's lovely. I've never met her. I've met Trump a couple times. I have never met her. I'm not getting any FaceTime with the president. That's not what this is about. I'm not going to get that opportunity. And also when you do this, when you're in the gallery, you don't get to bring your phone with you. You got to check that. So I'm not going to be able to do anything during the State of the Union. So I'm going to be afterwards. But I'm going to bring you everything because I've got the studio set up in DC. So I'm going to bring you everything the next day, and I'll hopefully be able to have the live stream going and running and everything else. Cannot wait to bring that to you. It's going to be so good. It's going to be so stupid good. All the backstories, everything that I have witnessed, because there are people who aren't showing up, and then there are people who are going to engage in boycotts and all the rest. There is an important move that the Republican Party needs to make. And you know as well as I do that the Republican Party is not good at making important moves. They're so interested in being nice still. They haven't learned the lessons of fighting, and it drives me crazy. If they don't take Democrats not showing up, Democrats not standing up for decency, and turn that into immediate ads that go along the lines of, these people are insane. You can't vote for these people. We're the responsible people. Vote for us in November. And by the way, the ad could also say, listen, we're Republicans. We ain't perfect. But these people, they're freaking nuts. That's the whole ad. That is it. Oh, I am convinced if you can't take this information, this nonsense we're going to see from the State of the Union, and turn that to your advantage, people are focused on, well, what's Trump going to say about tariffs? Well, the Supreme Court's going to be right in front of him. And if I'm Trump, as much as he may want to do it, he could say, I think the Supreme Court made a wrong decision. But I actually honor the rules here. Not like that side of the aisle. There are other things I can do for tariffs, and I'm going to go forward, even though I don't want them to go forward with tariffs. I would avoid the desire to punch the SCOTUS in the face at the State of the Union, and I would focus on what helps me ensure that I don't get impeached, and that's beating the Democrats in the House. That's keeping the Senate. I honestly don't know if he can do that. I don't know if Republicans are even thinking this way. This is a moment to do the other thing. I didn't say you couldn't be tough. I didn't say you couldn't be strong. I didn't say you couldn't hit somebody directly in the mouth, but don't make it SCOTUS. Make it the Democrats. Make it the court ruled. I think the court's absolutely wrong. But these Democrats call me an authoritarian. They're the ones who said, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, there you are, AOC. Good thing you're not just screaming into your video camera right there. Oh my God, did you not see her? I've got that story coming up. These people don't think you have to listen to the court. I disagree with the court, and I say so clearly, but I listen to the court because that's the system we have. These people don't believe in the system. If you vote for them, you're crazy. That's the hit he's got. I have no idea. Somebody in the chat room asked him, am I going to get a shout out from President Trump? I am not. I am not. And if I do, it means I've done something wrong. This is Tony Katz today. Not getting any shout outs. I appreciate that you think that man knows who I am. I'm not in DC. I'm not 24/7 MAGA. He's heard my name. That is probably it. We've done some interviews. It's just fine. It is just fine. I'm curious to see who will be there. Who else it will be in the gallery. People are invited because you often run into people. I mean, I was at the Netanyahu speech. I got invited to that. And it was I ran as Mark Levin. I wasn't surprised by that. It was funny. Senator Banks invited me to Netanyahu. Who invited me to the other one? I don't recall right now. That's pretty terrible. I should recall these things. And Senator Todd Young invited me to this one. Again, I'm still shocked by it. Still shocked. There are a lot of people in Indiana who have a real issue with Todd Young. I don't quite get it. I think a lot of it is contrived. There are plenty of things he has done that I disagree with him on. Plenty of things that he's done on foreign policy where I think that he's got a very solid understanding, for sure. But my job is to have good relations, and I do. And I do with both of my senators. I would like to have it with more senators. So the answer to the question, am I going to be gone from the show tomorrow and Wednesday? I'm gone from the show tomorrow because of when the flights are. No, Wednesday, I'm live for my morning show and right here. It's a question of how this one's going to work. I'm going to be in a different studio, but I'll have my laptop, and so I'll have my camera for the laptop. So I think I'm just going to do it that way. And now the question is, can I feed the radio feed into the laptop? I'm assuming there's a way to do that. I think I can from a very simple headphones jack, just come in, or there's got to be another way. There's another way to make that happen. Or maybe I'll just use the open mic and you'll hear me, right, and be able to see me, but you won't be able to get any of the audio stuff, and I can dub that in later. So I can do the show live, and I can dub in the audio later. I'll probably do that. Will I be wearing my bedazzled Crocs? I'll be wearing something bedazzled, but it won't be Crocs. There it is. There it is right there. Yes, prime seats will be next to the USA hockey team. Honestly, they got invited. Are they definitely going to be there? Because if I could be next to the U.S. hockey team, I'll take it. That would be kind of awesome. All right. I don't know how we're not calling it an assassination attempt. It would seem to me that when a man shows up to Mar-a-Lago with a shotgun in his hand, that the only way to view it is an assassination attempt. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. The story goes that a 21-year-old who is named, but I will not give out his name. I don't do that. I don't give out names. He was from North Carolina, showed up to Mar-a-Lago. He is carrying a shotgun in one hand and a gas can in the other, fuel canister as described. Officers, 2 Secret Service agents, and Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputies, separate, of course, people, order him to put the gun down. He put down the canister, raised the shotgun into a shooting position as described by law enforcement. Law enforcement then fired, and the suspect was killed on the scene. His mother had reported him missing. Investigators believe that this guy drove from North Carolina to Florida on Saturday. Now, this is a guy who is a white male. There's absolutely nothing showing a religious affiliation or connection, an ideological affiliation or connection, a trans affiliation or connection. Nothing as of yet. It doesn't mean that it won't come or that it's possible that those things might be learned. We're in the early stages of this, but I am like you. And I notice when there's a lack of information, because we have seen in horrifying situations, we have information in an hour. We have information immediately, if not sooner. And certainly when there's information that some people desperately want to share because setting narrative is more important than any fact that could be out there. They get that information out. But when information gets blocked, when information is prevented from reaching the people, when somehow we don't hear things, well, we often wonder if there's a reason for that. And I'm here to tell you that you're not crazy, that very often there's a reason for that. What is being said is that there were text messages sent. Now, this is according to TMZ. My gosh, are they able to get information over there at TMZ? This 21-year-old who showed up to Mar-A-Lago with a gun in his hand, according to sources, was obsessed with the Epstein files. Jeffrey Epstein, the sexual abuse, the sex trafficking, the very rich and wealthy people who were involved and connected. They came from all walks of life. As a matter of fact, not only has the former Prince Andrew been arrested, but there is an ambassador, Mendelsohn, who has been now arrested as well. Just because you were named in the Epstein files does not mean that you did anything wrong or anything untoward. People were on the island, people who engaged in sex trafficking, in a sexual abuse of children. We need to find them. We need to prosecute them. And if guilty, they need to go to jail for forever. And yes, I'll say it again. The Trump administration did a crappy job of handling this. They dismissed it when they should not have. Pam Bondi acted like an amateur. They're still behind the 8 ball, and they gave the Democrats a pillar in how to run in 2026. They gave them a lifeline. You can yell at me all you want. I'm right. I am discussing this. If you guys are going to be with me Saturday for what was supposed to be like a big gala, a big party about Trump 1 year later and going over the last year and how cool things have been. But this has turned into here's the map to win the midterms. We got ourselves a fight, and it will not be easy. But you have to understand what they're doing to understand what we need to do. And the we is an ever-growing number of people, because what they're doing is a very small amount of people. But my God, the gaslighting and the manipulation works. How do you fight that? How do you deal with this? Well, I have got that story. I have got that plan. If you want tickets, they may still be on sale. I thought they were closing up, but I saw this morning they weren't. Tickets.tonykatz.com. I would love to see you there. This Saturday, it's the 28th, downtown Indianapolis. Come on out. It's going to be fantastic. The bourbon, the food, cigars, desserts, I got it all for you. I'm a believer in a party. It's going to be amazing. Tickets.tonykatz.com. Get your tickets right now. The Epstein files has turned into a buzzword for saying the things that they've already said about Trump. Trump a fascist, Trump a Nazi, Trump a this, Trump a that. Now they can just throw on Trump pedophile. There's no proof of anything like this. They make it up. They're lying. They know they're lying. They don't care. Trump has been shown to be the guy saying, Jeffrey Epstein's a weirdo. Ghislaine Maxwell is evil. Somebody look into these people. He's already been shown to be that guy. The left does not care. They don't care. They think that John Ossoff, the senator from Georgia, some kind of hero, because he refers to it as the Epstein class. Boo-boo, Democrats are all over the Epstein class. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and Whoopi Goldberg are all over this stuff. Democrats left, right, and center are all over this stuff. What are we talking about? By the way, it shows some of the remarkable evil that here we have the abuse of children. And all progressives can say is, now, how can we use this to our political advantage? How can we hurt Trump with this? That's what they're doing. This 21-year-old was obsessed with Epstein. He sent a text message, as is reported. He sent a text message, which was obtained by TMZ, that read, I don't know if you read up on the Epstein files, but evil is real and unmistakable. The best people like you and I can do is use what little influence we have. Tell other people about what you hear about the Epstein files and what the government is doing about it. Raise awareness. So I don't know what to do with that. The belief was people were getting away with it. I don't want anybody getting away with abusing children. But I want the truth to be told and not some lie about Trump as pedophile. It's too gross for words. So did this lead him to go and try and kill Donald Trump? We might find that as we get more information, that original story is not accurate. That often does happen. But is there any question that instead of being a society focused on the protecting of children, and instead progressives solely being focused on how can we use this to attack Trump, we turn it into a pillar, Democrats have. They turn it into a pillar of how they're going to run for winning the midterms. Is there any question that people don't get ginned up? They have to do something. Look at this threat. Look at this pedophile. Look at this Nazi. Look at this fascist. How many more names can they come up with based on nothing? The clear and obvious answer is that when you refuse to engage honestly, but you only engage through the lens of political victory, you are clearly saying anybody who disagrees with us is the enemy. You then dehumanize the enemy. And is there any doubt, any question that that's exactly what they did for years, saying that Trump was a threat to democracy that led to a lone wolf trying to kill him in Butler, Pennsylvania? Is there any question that what then MSNBC and CNN and the New York Times and social media did? Is there any question that that was the goal? Because for me, there's no real question that that was the goal. I didn't even say anything wild. All I did was repeat what it is they're doing. How did it not? Of course it is the thing to try and gin people up. It was the call for a lone wolf. What do you think these things are? I think that if you want to say that it's wrong for the president and wrong for the administration to try and stonewall on anything regarding Epstein, that would have been correct. But since the passage of the legislation and the information that's come out, there is no stonewalling. That's just not the case. You could say a Pam Bondi, why are you engaging in redacting this or redacting that? Pam Bondi screwed up. Of course she did. You could say so. Pam Bondi should be replaced. It took too long. Your advice was terrible. And yes, Epstein is the one place where Donald Trump has missed. He misread the audience. It's a rare thing for him to do, but he did. The left should be focused on how do we put the people who abuse children in jail, and they're not. I can prove this by discussing where they are on illegal immigration. I'm going to get into a conversation regarding Lake and Riley. And President Trump's speech today from the White House with the families who have been the victims of violence by foreign criminals. The rational response is, we do not want American citizens killed by people here illegally. So if you remove the people here illegally and you stop people from coming illegally, no one can be killed by that group of people. That's the rational mind. The leftist mind, how dare you go after these fine immigrants who should be voters? Because they want voters. They don't care. They don't care that Laken Riley got murdered. They want the votes. They don't care that children were abused. They want to hurt Trump, and they want power more than they want children protected and those who abuse children in jail. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how else. What other proof does one need? And the answer is they don't. You can't vote for these people. We'll learn more about this attempted assassin, because I want to be clear, I'm sticking with that. It wasn't an attempted assassination? Sure. Only because good guys with a gun stopped him. Only because they got there first. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Gold medal. We'll do that now. Where do I have? There we go. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. Good to be with you. There we are right here. Let's see what's going on in the comments section. Somebody's commenting on my last name as a German and Ashkenazi Jewish surname, which would be right, except not German in this case. Katz is also like the Jewish Smith. right? It's a very, very common last name. And as a follow up, it's also a name that has different versions and variations. Katzenstein, Katzoff, a couple of those. And very often, if you came to the United States, it got shortened to Katz. As I know it, we are original Katzes. Never shortened, just the name. Just the name. I bring that up because you have the U.S. men winning gold, as they did, gold medal against the Canadians, and a lot of people want to notice that the brothers on the team and the guy with the game-winning shot, Jewish, and I'm like, can we just say congratulations, and could religion not be brought into this? And I know Jewish people are like, look at that, that's so great. I'm like, isn't it just great that he won? I don't need it. I didn't ask anybody's religion on the women's team. I didn't care. Good for him. I'm not angry with the dude. And now people are like, oh, we get it. This win was bought and paid for by the Zionists. I kid you not. Everybody is just stupid all the time. They want to be dumb. They just can't. They can't figure out how to be happy. They can't figure out how to be normal. Can't do it. Let's do some radio.
Here's McDavid moving it on Jack Hughes. Tries to slow him down. Puck flies up behind the net. And it's Werenski. Now Jack Hughes puts it around the car. United States with numbers. Watch across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States. For the first time since the 1980 miracle, the United States takes the gold. Jack Hughes beating Jordan Bennington.
The U.S. wins gold 2-1 over the Canadians in men's hockey in overtime, just like the way the U.S. women defeated Canada 2-1 to win the gold in hockey in overtime. You couldn't script that. Could not script it. Tony Katz today. Incredible stuff. And then they're celebrating, and the guy's got, Jack Hughes doesn't have any teeth. He's like, I love this team. I love America. And this is so great. And Kash Patel, the FBI director, is in the locker room chugging a beer with them, and people are upset with him. I know. Seeing guys be guys and celebrating a win, that's all so terrible and awful. And Trump called and invited him to the White House. I think he invited the women as well. He should have. He absolutely should have. Some people were asking, were they invited, or will I see them at the State of the Union? Because I'm going to be at the State of the Union. And I'm like, I don't know. Are they expected to be at the State of the Union? Because if I get to hang out with the hockey guys, I'm hanging out with the hockey guys, which means I might not make it to the show the next day. I don't know. I do not know how that works, but that's going to happen. Because if there's an opportunity to drink with the hockey guys, I'm not even a drinker. I'm a sipper. But guess what I'm doing? Unbelievable win. Unbelievable story. The men and the women. Would love to see them both. And they both seem to really be happy they can represent the country, which is nice to see. It's actually all we asked for. That was it. Good job. Congratulations to you. Well done. Well played. This is Tony Katz today. Claudia, what's going on with your little logo thing here? What is that? What's going on with Claudia's thing here? What'd she make for herself? I don't know what that is. I do not know what that is. So she's going to have to tell me. All right, so here's what we've got. We have got the radio show in break right now. And with that, we will be in break. So we've got a little time here, right? So smoke them if you got them. Just that easy. We'll take the break. The radio show's in break. We'll be back in a few minutes, and we will continue with Representative Ocasio-Cortez's breakdown, because people are not reading into this what this is. This is the Howard Dean moment. The difference is the party right now is much further left. So how does it really affect her? I will explain. The bigotry of Gavin Newsom, the ignorance of commies like Bernie Sanders. I've got 3 more things, including Mamdani in the snow. So great. I was almost a Trump. That was almost Trump. Wasn't bad. If I could do impressions, that'd be pretty impressive. I could do walking. That's I'm sorry, what was that? Guys, I'm really glad you couldn't hear that. That was producer Landon, everybody. Yeah. We'll see what we can do about figuring out a way to get that to you. But we're going to take the break right now. Keep it right here, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. Hang loose. We will be right back. Welcome back, Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. I think I am mostly, first of all, Flederman von Riest. This is the Harborside turquoise going on right here. Yeah, I like it. Not gonna lie. I like it quite a bit. Let me pull it back. There we go. I am a fan. I haven't figured out what I'm going to wear to the State of the Union yet when it comes to timepiece. I have, right, these, right? I can go full Indiana and go with the Flederman von Riest. Go to Von Riest, R-I-E-S-T-E. Go to vonriest.com. That's where you go and you use promo code CATS and you get your discount. A lot of beautiful timepieces. I can go classic, right? 59 Rolex, which so this is before things got really big in terms of the case size and everything else. And I happen to like them a little bit smaller. So this is original 1959 Oyster Perpetual, very groovy. Or I can go out of the box and go Franck Mueller. So I haven't decided yet which way we're going to go. I don't have a large collection. I've tried a bunch of different things, and I'm like, okay, I know what I want to do. I know what I want to wear. I know what I want to be. The things I want to have to pass down to the kids, the things I want to have because I use them every day. It's a much smaller collection than it used to be. It was never like an insane collection at all. So haven't picked the watch yet, but I'm probably going to go Von Riest. I never stopped advertising for them. It's just I haven't had a chance. We wanted to change some things with the show. And so I haven't brought it up the way I usually do, but I love Von Riest. Excellent work. And by the way, not a lefty. It's just more comfortable on my right hand. It always has been. My brother, the good Dr. Katz, does the same. That's it. Anyway, back to the show. In order to understand what happened with Representative Ocasio-Cortez, you have to understand what happened with then Governor Howard Dean when he ran for president in 2004. But to understand it all, we have to go back to Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and recognize that what happened to her in Munich has stuck with her, and it broke her. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Find everything I do over there at TonyKatz.com. We've got the videos, the stories, the show sheet. Everything is there. Check it out for yourself. And of course, be sure to be following on YouTube where we live stream. And we're live streaming as we speak. On the YouTube, just look for Tony Katz or Twitter X, Tony Katz, and you will find it there. Representative Ocasio-Cortez was at the Munich Security Conference. And while at the Munich Security Conference, she said a bunch of things that are completely insane. She wants to argue that the only place where she had an issue was a conversation regarding Taiwan and China. You may have seen those videos, and I will I will share it with you. But I want it clear that Representative Ocasio-Cortez, who is not bright, I have said clearly she is stupid, but she is not dumb. And I never used to talk like this about her, but it is obvious how dangerous and how absolutely bereft of knowledge she is. We should say so. Will that stop her from getting a nomination for whatever she wants to get a nomination for? Absolutely not. The hardened leftist, the progressive, who wants to buy into her commie nonsense is going to do so. And liberal white women will fall for anything. But she is not smart. This was Representative Ocasio-Cortez at the Munich Security Conference.
There's a very big difference between whiteness and national, like your actual culture, right? Whiteness is an imaginary thing. Being German is real. Being Italian is real. Being English. These are rich cultural heritages that are based on values, and they are so much a part of what make our cultures and our societies what they are.
What the hell is she talking about? That was 36 seconds of what is she talking about? Nobody knows what she's talking about. Now, if you're a gender studies major, you're clapping along. Oh, that is so true. That is so true. But you don't know what she's talking about. The biggest thing you learn being a gender studies major is how to clap along. Go, oh, that's so true. That's so true. You don't know what actually got said. No one actually discusses what got said. All you hear is whiteness bad. Oh, so good, so good. What's whiteness? How dare you ask such an easy to answer question? And then you flail about like somehow you're insulted, but you never answer the question because you can't, because no one's bringing it up, because you invented it, because you're all weird. You invented it because you needed something to be angry about, which is weird that you need something to be angry about when you're angry 24/7, 365. You wake up in the morning, you don't even bother yawning or wiping the sleep away from your eyes. You wake up and say, what can I be rabidly angry about today that isn't actually a problem? And then boom, there you go. You never asked yourself whether she made any sense. She didn't make any sense. She sounds ridiculous. Yes, she sounds like a fool. But that wasn't the moment that people are referring to. The moment that people are referring to is when she got asked about China and Taiwan and how she would answer this question right here.
Would and should the U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is this is, of course, a very longstanding policy of the United States. And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never get to that point. And we want to make sure that we are moving in all of our economic research and our global positions to avoid any such confrontation and for that question to even arise.
Wow, that was really bad. Never mind that the answer was bad. What it took for her to get to the place to even pretend to give an answer was awful, was horrifying. And what everybody who is anybody in that room and watching, whether in the United States or all around the globe, noticed was that it showed a total and complete lack of understanding of the issue. This pseudo-intellectualism may pass in social media platforms, but it doesn't pass when you are Europe asking, what exactly are you going to do about a growing hegemonic desire of the Chinese? How do you thwart them? How do you engage soft power? How do you engage hard power? How do you engage protection without having to utilize a troop or launch a missile? How are you going to do this? Now, if she had listened to President Trump said of this, well, her problem is she answered the question. I would have never answered the question. That's about strategy. I'm not going to tell you what my strategy is. What are you, nuts? I mean, that was his answer, which is sound advice for the Congresswoman. Not every question needs to be answered. But pretending that you were engaged in finding, in sharing this deep thought that you've had about China and Taiwan, I put forth to you that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has never had a detailed thought about China and Taiwan, has never once had a detailed thought about trade, has never once had a detailed thought about the fishing lanes, has never once asked herself about if China takes Taiwan, what does that do to the navigable seas? How does this affect trade with Japan and South Korea and Australia and these other nations that we have relationships with? How does this affect us militarily with the AUKUS agreement regarding Australia and the building of submarines, which we're doing more and more of? How does this help us with a Japan that is trying to elect people and has elected people that are growing in our favor and want to thwart this Chinese threat? What does this do to the enabling of North Korea? All I did as a radio host was sit here and talk to you, and I came up with that list. It wasn't hard. It wasn't hard, and I don't get the briefings that she gets. I do this show every day, and you pick up some things. Do you think that she even knows about the AUKUS agreement? Australia, United Kingdom, United States? Neither here nor there. It was an outrageously bad performance from Representative Ocasio-Cortez. It was brutal. And the press did try to rally around her. And I talked about this, but I was struck by, and I should give this a follow-up, because I did talk about it on the show, how much they were rallying around her. It was kind of amazing how quickly it stopped, too. Because maybe they realized there was nothing to protect. That what European nations saw here was a woman who was unserious, was not a woman who was going to be able to lead the United States, and certainly not somebody who could be trusted. My gosh, it's Joe Biden all over again. There's no there. There's no competency there. There is no strength there. There is no vigor there. There is no mind at play. She's never once played a strategy game. She's never once played a war game. And we were told by her team that she had done serious prep work. Because for what other reason would she be at the Munich Security Conference except to try and elevate herself on the world stage as a mind? So she could take on Chuck Schumer in a Senate race, or maybe higher aspirations. It's a huge failure. It is a huge failure. It's at this moment I take you to Howard Dean, going back to 2004, and moments that ended a career. Howard Dean was the governor of Vermont, and he was moving up the political ladder, and he was running for president, and he was a progressive before people called it progressive. He was. And he was unabashed in it. And there he is, placing third in Iowa. And it was in this moment, on that stage, where he ended his career. You've heard about it. Don't know if you've actually ever heard it.
Well, you guys, you have already got the picture here. I was about to say, I'm sure there's some disappointed people here. You know what? You know something? If you had told us 1 year ago that we were going to come in third in Iowa, we would have given anything for that. And you know something? Not only are we going to New Hampshire, Tom Harkin, we're going to South Carolina and Oklahoma and Arizona and North Dakota and New Mexico. We're going to California and Texas and New York. And we're going to South Dakota and Oregon and Washington and Michigan. And then we're going to Washington, D.C. to take back the White House. Yeah!
And that was it.
Well,
that was it. The whole career was over at that moment.
yeah!
Gone in a flash. It's amazing how that happens. But there are moments that occur that you are just simply no longer taken seriously. You are unserious, and we leave you behind. I put forth to you that Representative Ocasio-Cortez had a very, very bad appearance at the Munich Security Conference, but that was not that moment. It was not a Howard Dean moment. She still had all the ramp and all the future in front of her. And then somehow, someone gave her a phone. They let her make a video. And she has a cold and she's lost some of her voice, and some people thought she was weepy. Was she like coming after a party? I don't know what was happening here. I do know that there is her dog sleeping in the background and you can hear the snoring. And Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says this.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth, I'm afraid the issue is not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks.
Holy cow. Now, before we get into her words, let me say clearly, the dog is snoring. You wanted to share with us your intellectual prowess and your defense of it while your dog snored in the background of a video, and you said, I'm posting that. Disqualifying. But let's go back to what she said, shall we?
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I pause to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth, I'm afraid the issue is not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks.
Some people were asking, wait, was that her dog or was that her fiance? I don't know. I think it was a puppy. That's not the story. You failed in your answer, Representative Ocasio-Cortez. I believe you failed a great number of times at the Munich Security Conference. And you're so bothered by being beaten up about it that instead of saying, I'm going to get smarter, you put out a video where you're visibly upset and you blame Trump? I can't believe anybody on your team let you put this out. Can't believe that you published it and you published other videos. I cannot believe you did this. The appearance, the answer at the Munich Security Conference is not the Howard Dean moment. This is. That video is going to haunt her for forever. And you say to me, Tony, it's not going to matter to her acolytes. It's going to matter to donors who realize that there's a great big world out there. And they are all going to want to have some thoughts about who's trying to protect them or who's going to get them killed. You have no idea how badly this is going to play for forever. Well, forever's a long time. I'm Tony Katz, and this is Tony Katz Today. Welcome back, everybody. Tony Katz. Tony Katz today. Let me get to the comments. All right, there's just one guy who wants to call me a name. That's great. It was super helpful that you did that. I don't know, changed the course of my life right there. People are special. Yeah, nothing is forever, right? And we can be clear that lots of people come back from things. I don't think you understand that when we're talking about running for president, no nation is going to have any faith in her, and Democrats are going to know that. And there are still, on that institutional level, that donor level, people who think that matters. Oh, not the dumb college-age commies. Agreed. But others. I'm running against her. I'm playing that for forever. And we should go a step further, which I didn't get to go into. I did post this on social media. Anybody who is afraid to run against her, that's over. Chuck Schumer, who has to be concerned that she's going to run against him, has nothing to be concerned about. That's it. Moving on. Schumer feels much more confident. Much more confident about running against her now. Because she looked the fool. And we're getting back to the show. Let's see, what did I miss? All right. We will categorize this in stories I did not see coming. Nick Reiner, the son of director and actor Rob Reiner, who was murdered, is pleading not guilty. Nick Reiner, who is the suspect, history of mental illness, history of estrangement, history of all sorts of things. There was a massive fight that took place at a Christmas party with Nick Reiner and Rob Reiner before this took place. Pleading not guilty. He was charged with 2 counts of murder in the first degree in the stabbing of Rob Reiner and Michelle Singer. His public defender entered the not guilty plea on his behalf. Now, Nick Reiner could get the death penalty for this. Things I was not expecting. By the way, you remember that Nick Reiner had a lawyer. And then that guy's name, a defense attorney by the name of Alan Jackson, withdrew from the case. I don't know why that was. I don't know what it is that he saw in Nick Reiner or anything else that made him say, yeah, I'm not doing this. But I didn't. Insanity. I don't know what other kind of pleas that would give you the most chance not to face a death penalty possibilities. But, dear Lord, not guilty is not one I saw coming. because it seems that the evidence is very, very outrageously clear. Now, I've got 3 more things to get to, and I wasn't going to get into Jack Smith, but it's news. 3 more things, stories that maybe should be front page news, but aren't. I will get to. It's because we've got a lot of front page news with the cartels in Mexico. What I say is an assassination attempt on President Trump. Oh, and we're going to have war with Iran, or no, or we'll get into all of it. Keep it here. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. All right, so let me put this together right there. And let me put that together right there. And then you have the, yes, there's the angry Gavin Newsom. Oh, there's same one. Okay, there it is. We'll just put that right there. Angry Gavin Newsom. That. We've got this. So we've got that and that. And we've got this. Okay. We've got it all together. Wait, who's down in Clearwater? Oh, you went fishing in Clearwater, or are you living in Clearwater? As for the possibility of a Iranian hit, I'm going to say no to tomorrow, because I don't think that the president necessarily wants to do anything right up before the State of the Union. I don't think that's the story he wants for if things don't go well. Our military is remarkably competent, incredibly capable, and able. And what they've been able to do is truly stunning. But things go wrong. And the last thing in the world you want is for things to go wrong. So no, I don't think he does it now. I don't think he has that conversation now. Oh, that's right. UCLA canceled Barry Weiss as a speaker because, the left is tolerant. That's why they canceled her, because of their tolerance. So mental. So absolutely, positively mental. And they're never going to change. Never, ever, ever, ever going to change. This is what they want. It's like the trolls will never change, or the haters they want this. They live and die for just the anger. It's all very weird. Super duper weird. No way to live. All right, let me okay. Solid and good. Be back to the show in 30 seconds. Let me go back to the comments right here. You're going fishing. That's why you're going to Clearwater. You're going fishing. Okay. So like the idea of like the fishing boat charter sounds like fun. The idea of fishing all day seems like less fun. Out on the boat, cigar, I get it. If I don't have to fish, I get it. If I have to fish, I don't know if I want that. Is that weird? Three more things to get to. Tony Katz today. What's going on, everybody? Good to be with you. Stories that maybe should be front page news, but aren't front page news, or maybe they are. Maybe they are, and I'm the only person who sees it in a different way. We start with Jack Smith, the special counsel that never should have been special counsel, and investigating Donald Trump, and then the investigation just goes nowhere, and that's it. A federal judge blocking the Justice Department from releasing the portion of his report that details his investigation into President Trump's alleged mishandling of classified documents. Why? The judge, Aileen Cannon, granted requests from Trump and two co-defendants to issue an order prohibiting the release of the second volume of the Smith report. And it bars Pam Bondi or her successors from releasing or sharing that portion of the final report. I have many questions. Now, Bondi has already said that she had no interest in releasing it because there were questions surrounding the legality of Smith's appointment. In order to be special counsel, if I understand it right, you cannot be an employee of the government. And Smith at the time was an employee of the government. As I understand it. So Aileen Cannon, the judge, ruled in 2024 that Smith was unlawfully appointed as special counsel. Smith appealed that decision, but Trump won the second term, and that was it. So special counsel Smith, acting without lawful authority, obtained an indictment in this action and initiated proceedings that resulted in a final order of dismissal of all charges. As a result, the former defendants in this case, like any other defendant in this situation, still enjoy the presumption of innocence held sacrosanct in our constitutional order. For obvious reasons, the court need not take actions in contravention of that protection absent a statutory or other lawful directive to do so. So the desire is you had no reason to investigate these people. You found things in investigation that may have nothing to do with whether or not they were guilty of what you are accusing them of. But if you could release the report, hey, we can embarrass these people and embarrass Trump, and isn't that what's important? Okay, I got it understood, right? I've got to zeroed in on where the issue is. Okay, just making sure I understand it. Then there is Gavin Newsom. Now, Gavin Newsom is special. It's a special kind of man to be this much of a bigot and think that you've said something that nobody is going to notice. I think this is clean, producer Landon, but finger on the dump button just in case. Here we go.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech. Maybe the wrong business to be in.
You're not afraid to go.
Is he making the argument that I'm just like you as he's speaking to the host who is black? Is he making the argument that I'm just like you, I can't read? Is he saying that to people who are black? Is this what he's saying? He is talking to the mayor of, is this the mayor of Atlanta? Yes. He's speaking to Mayor Andre Dickens. I'm not, I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. I'm a 960 SAT guy. You never see me read a speech because I cannot read. Now, maybe I should have known this, but Sean Hannity tweets out that Gavin Newsom thinks a 960 SAT makes him like Black Americans, to which Gavin Newsom responds, "You didn't give a blank about the President of the United States of America posting an ape video of President Obama or calling African nations blank holes. But you're going to call me racist for talking about my lifelong struggle with dyslexia? Spare me your blanking outrage, your fake blanking outrage, Sean." Okay. Allow me for a moment. I know a little something about dyslexia. Dyslexia doesn't make you make a statement that's stupid. I'm just like you. I have a 960 SAT. I can't read. It's a weird thing to say. It's a weird thing to say. It is. The video that went out on Trump's social account that ended with this cartoon version of Barack and Michelle Obama as apes, that was part of a longer video where all these Democrats play these characters in the jungle, and then Trump walks in as the lion, as the king of the jungle. Oh, is the video dumb? The video's dumb. Oh, whoever posted the video to Trump's social feed, you didn't know how to edit something out, make sure it wasn't connected. What's wrong with everybody? But this, oh my gosh, look at this trope from Donald Trump. It was part of something larger, and in context, it isn't what you thought it was. Did it look bad? Sure, it looked bad. It looked stupid. But the idea that somehow, it just proves what a racist Trump is. So silly. So dumb. So dumb is the statement from the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. No one is calling you a racist, Governor Newsom, because of your dyslexia. But it sure sounded like you were trying to tell people who are Black, oh, I'm just like you because of my reading issues. It was a messed up thing to say. It was a weird, weird thing to say. Now, Gavin Newsom is trying like mad to be the Democratic nominee. And he's trying and find the spaces of agreement with rational America, which is going to put him at odds with progressive America, like on trans children.
You said that after the last election, 2024, that it's deeply unfair for transgender athletes to participate in girls' sports, which many in your party, including some potential 2028 rivals, disagreed with.
Yeah.
In 2020, it was a litmus test for Democrats. In 2024, it was a wedge issue that you called devastating. Is this one of those things that you're trying to lead your party on?
No, it's just I got a direct question from Charlie Kirk. Had him on my podcast. Wanted to understand why he and Turning Point USA were so successful turning out the vote of young men for Donald Trump. And I think success leaves clues. And so we had a direct engagement, and he asked me about a specific incident in California that occurred 2 years prior and one that was happening in real time in terms of the state track championship. And he described the conditions, and I said, no, that's deeply unfair because it took away the opportunity for another athlete to succeed. And I said that, and I believe that. And it's not out of an indictment to the trans community, quite the contrary, and a record that can back that up, a record that is, that I'm attacked for my advocacy for the community. But I do think it's a very different issue, the sports.
It's a different issue. And what lesson do you take from that as somebody who's trying to make sure that Democrats, maybe even you, win?
Yeah, I think there's, from a tactical perspective, from the prism of purely politics, there's no doubt that the Democratic Party needs to be, dare I say, more culturally normal.
Oh my. Well, best of luck with that. That is Gavin Newsom admitting that this trans sanity is not culturally normal, which happens to be accurate. No part of wanting to mutilate children is normal. That is going to hurt him more. He says something unbelievably daft where he's intimating that people who are black can't read. Weird phrasing. But the thing that'll hurt him more with the left is the abuse of children and the alleged transitioning of children is not culturally normal, which is accurate, and the left's going to eat him alive for it. By the way, maybe the biggest news story that no one's talking about that they should is Tom Homan speaking to Republicans, talking about, and finger on the dump button just in case, talking about a very specific case regarding ICE.
Everyone these kids are found. So we just found one 2 days ago, an example, 14-year-old little girl living with 2 adult males who trafficked her, and we found her she's pregnant from trafficking, being forced into prostitution. 14 years old. So we're taking care of her, both physically and mentally.
ICE should continue doing its work every single day. ICE should not stop removing people who are in the country illegally. We should not stop with law enforcement in finding those involved in sex trafficking and putting them in jail and rescuing these children from the abuse, from the hellscape in which they live. There is no argument and no discussion. There is no debate that what ICE is doing is important and valuable. And right now, Democrats are still involved in a shutdown that does not defund ICE because of the One Big Beautiful Bill where they received the money back in 2025, but shuts down parts of Coast Guard, prevents the stoppage of fentanyl from coming into the country, which again goes after children. Every time the Democrat speaks, they seem to say that children being trafficked, oh well. Fentanyl getting to the country, oh well. Us screaming about ICE is going to be helpful for the election because we get to attack Trump, and that's way more important than the safety of your kids or anybody else's kids. Election day is November 3rd. And all the left is doing is showing you exactly who they are. And all we have to do is vote. I'm Tony Katz. This is Tony Katz Today. This is all very interesting. Very weird. A little bit of research, you can learn a lot about what it is you're seeing and the career choices some people have made. Huh. Well, yeah, that's on them. Oh, what am I talking about? No, not going to do that. Tony Katz today. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Oh my gosh. So yeah, so far, flight is still on time. And as long as that is the case, we are going to be all right. Yeah. No delays. I think we're a go. We're going to go to DC. We're going to hit the State of the Union. Maybe have a cupcake. Come right back. That is the plan. And you say to me, you're going to get a cupcake in DC? I don't know. If I want a cupcake, I'll get a cupcake. It has been, when I lived in DC, certainly, I knew where to go. I knew what to do. I knew the places and ate well in DC. It's been way too long. I don't think any of those places even exist anymore. So let us get back to it. Let us discuss your friend, Zoran Mamdani. Let's talk about your favorite commie who you all emulate, Zoran Mamdani. I did not get any bee pollen. No, I did this naturally. I naturally let the cold run its course. Come shovel the snow, says Zoran Mamdani. It was a weird and awkward request, and it was a weird statement from progressives trying to defend him. Tony Katz today. Good to be with you. You got the nor'easter going on, massive storm in the Northeast. They're going to be getting oodles of snow. The snow and the weather is the only thing keeping me from feeling totally at ease about flying out to D.C. tomorrow for the State of the Union, as I'm going to the State of the Union. I will be there. I'll be live on Wednesday reporting back from it. But the weather can affect flights and other things. And certainly D.C. doesn't seem to be too bad with the storm, but the Reagan National Airport can close or have an issue for anything, connecting flights and everything else. So it's still a little up in the air. But the snow is going to be so great that the commie mayor, Zoran Mamdani, put out a call for emergency snow shovelers. We can't do this on our own. We need emergency snow shovelers. Oh, you want to get paid? Well, here, you have to bring with you 2 forms of ID, plus a Social Security card, plus 2 pictures, 1 inch by 1.5 inches. 1 inch by 1.5 inches. Need 2 of those. 2 forms of ID and a Social Security card. You need 5 forms of identification to get a job, but you don't need any ID to vote. As Dave Marcus over there at Fox News wrote, Zoran Mamdani is instituting Jim Crow 2.0. How dare you need all this ID to get a job? Why do you need all this ID to get a job? How ridiculous. But these are the people who say, how dare you need an ID to vote? They want the opportunity for fraud. It's who they are. It's what they do. Mamdani looks like a clown. Radically incapable. Well over his head. Well, when you're a communist, it isn't about being able to do the job. It's about sticking true to your communist ideology. It's about shaking the hand of people who are criminals and then wondering why the cops are trying to stop them. It's about not being able to clear the snow and then blaming others for why the snow isn't cleared. It's about letting people freeze on the streets and say, well, that's not the role of government to actually bring any warmth while we bring the warm embrace of collectivism and take people's livelihoods. We don't have to keep people warm, but we are going to take your property, for the good of the people. You voted for this, New York. No, not all of you, and that's where I feel bad, but enough of you. Feel like you're suffering yet? Just wait. I'm Tony Katz. These people. So, guys, here's what's going on. I cannot wait to see you on Saturday. It's going to be so good. No delay. We have gorgeous weather. Tickets.tonykatz.com because the site's still up. Hold on. I'll check it now. I'll check it right now. Hold on. Tickets. All right, there it is. And I can get tickets. And yeah. This event I did with my home station, WIBC, so I'm not in charge of certain things. So I wasn't in charge of this part of it. It's been an interesting partnership. They've been good. And so, all right, it's still up. What do you want from me? It is still up. It is still there. So if you want to come, I want to see you. I absolutely want to see you. I cannot wait to see you. I think this event is probably the weirdest one I've done because it's a little esoteric. Could it start as a gala, just a red tie gala, and then it's kind of turned into this thing, right, about the midterms. So I think when I started this, like everyone was in when I first thought of it, everyone was in kind of like a party mode, and then things change, fortunes changed, and everybody got into a serious mode. And here I am, like, hey, let's have a party. I like a good party. I was like, yeah, this is weird. Okay, note to self. This you try something, this could happen. And then people are like, we want the party still, but we want the info. We want the party. We want the info. We want everything. I'm like, okay, I got this. Yeah, so tickets.tonykatz.com. We're still doing it. It's gonna be so good. And by the way, don't get me wrong. There's a crowd. I am joyful for all the people who are going to be showing up. Oh, fantastic. But it was true. It's like, wait, what? Do I someone wearing a tux? Wait, I have to wear pants? Tony, I don't go to your events to wear pants. What kind of thing is this? So it was a bunch of that. It was like, this is a little different than other things you've done. I'm like, yeah, take your shots, baby. Absolutely. But it's going to be awesome. I only hope to see you there. Tickets.tonykatz.com. That is on February 28th. And yes, I will not forget that Beth and Ann are having a pre-party in the lobby, to which I have yet to be invited. True story. Good people. Absolutely fantastic people. Guys, I appreciate you very, very much. The radio show continues over at WIBC.com. You can listen to the show live there. I've got Major Mike Lyons. We're going to be talking about possible war with Iran. And then tomorrow, so I'm out, but I will get to some video. And then I'll be at the State of the Union. I look forward to sharing video from that before and after. And I'll be on the air Wednesday. And I'll give you everything. Every behind-the-scenes thing I can find is yours. Happy to give it to you. Don't forget to subscribe there on the Twitter X at Tony Katz or YouTube Tony Katz. I'd appreciate it if you would. And I will catch you tomorrow. You got it, guys. Take care.